felt it. That wave rising inside you. Panic, anxiety, that spiralling feeling when everything inside starts moving too fast and you can't catch your breath. Your heart pounds, your thoughts race, and every technique you've ever learned. Breathe deeply. Count to 10. Think positive. None of it touches what's actually happening. Because here's what nobody tells you about those moments. You're not trying to calm down. You're trying to fight what's already here. And that fight is what keeps the storm going. Most people think self-soothing means talking yourself down, convincing yourself everything's fine, redirecting your attention to something peaceful. But all of that requires time. Time to sit down, time to breathe properly, time to find that calm place inside. When you're in the middle of a panic attack or a wave of overwhelming emotion, you don't have time. You need something instant. I'm going to show you something that works in seconds. Not minutes, seconds. And it's not what you think. Let me tell you what's actually happening when you're overwhelmed. Your nervous system has switched into a very old mode. A survival mode. It thinks something is threatening you right now, in this moment. And it's flooding your body with chemicals to help you fight or run. Your rational mind knows there's no tiger in the room, but your body doesn't care what your mind knows. It's responding to a perceived threat, and it's doing exactly what it was designed to do. So, when you try to calm yourself with thoughts, "I'm safe," nothing bad is happening. You're speaking a language your body doesn't understand in that moment. You're trying to reason with an alarm that's already ringing. And the alarm doesn't listen to reason, it listens to something else entirely. Here's the thing most techniques miss. They try to override the body's response. They try to talk it down, breathe it away, distract it. But the body doesn't want to be overridden. It wants to be acknowledged. It wants to complete what it started. Think about it like this. When you're cold, you don't stand there telling yourself you're warm. You put on a jacket. You give your body what it needs. The same principle applies here. Your body is in a state, and trying to think your way out of that state is like trying to convince yourself you're not cold while standing in snow. The instant technique isn't about changing your thoughts. It's about speaking directly to your nervous system in a language it recognizes immediately. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. Here's what you do. And I mean this literally. You can do this right now, in the middle of reading this, and feel the shift. Place your hand on your chest, not lightly, firmly, like you're giving yourself a solid grounding touch. Feel the pressure of your palm against your body. That's step one. Now, without changing anything about your breathing, without trying to slow it down or deepen it, just notice your breath moving under your hand. Don't control it. Don't fix it. Just feel it. The rise, the fall, whatever rhythm it has right now, let it be exactly that. You're probably noticing something already. A subtle shift, maybe a slight softening. That's not a trick of your imagination. That's your nervous system receiving a very specific signal. Here's why this works. Physical touch, especially self-applied pressure to the chest, sends an immediate message to your vagus nerve. That's a nerve that runs from your brain down through your chest and into your gut. It's the main highway of your parasympathetic nervous system. The part that calms you down, that tells your body the threat has passed. When you press your hand to your chest, you're essentially flipping a biological switch. You're telling your body, I'm here, I'm present with what's happening. You're not alone in this. And your nervous system recognizes that signal instantly because it's hardwired. It's older than language, older than thought. But there's a second part. And this is where it becomes instant instead of just helpful. While your hand is on your chest, with your other hand, squeeze your opposite shoulder or your upper arm, or even your own hand. Firm pressure, not painful but solid, like you're holding yourself. This bilateral stimulation, touching both sides of your body at once, creates something called dual awareness. Your brain has to track sensation on both sides, which automatically pulls you out of the spiral of panic and into present moment awareness. You can't be fully lost in catastrophic thinking and simultaneously feel pressure on both sides of your body. The brain doesn't work that way. And here's what makes this different from breathing exercises or meditation. Those require you to do something different than what you're already doing. This doesn't. You're not trying to change your state. You're just adding sensation, adding presence. And that presence interrupts the feedback loop that keeps panic going. I've watched people do this in the middle of a full panic attack, and within 15 seconds, literally 15 seconds, their breathing slows, their eyes clear, and they come back. Not because they fought the panic, because they met it with something it couldn't argue with. Physical presence. You can use this anywhere. In a meeting, when anxiety spikes. In your car, before a difficult conversation. In bed when your mind won't stop racing. Nobody even has to know you're doing it. It looks like you're just resting your hand on your chest. But you're actually engaging one of the most powerful self-regulation tools your body has. There's something else that happens with this technique. Something deeper than just calming down. When you place your hand on your chest and feel your breath, you're doing something radical. You're staying with yourself instead of trying to escape yourself. Most of our suffering in overwhelming moments comes from the desperate attempt to not feel what we're feeling. We want the anxiety gone, the panic erased, the overwhelm to disappear, and that wanting creates a second layer of suffering. We're anxious about being anxious, panicked about the panic, overwhelmed by our own overwhelm. But when you put your hand on your chest, you're not trying to get rid of anything. You're saying, okay, this is what's here right now, I'm with it. And paradoxically, that acceptance is what allows the intensity to move through. Because emotions aren't solid, they're energy. And energy moves when it's not being blocked. Think about a child who's upset. If you tell them to stop crying, to calm down, to get over it, what happens? They cry harder. But if you pick them up, hold them, and just stay present while they cry, they calm down naturally. The emotion completes itself because it was met, not fought. You're doing the same thing for yourself. With this technique, you're becoming the presence that allows your own emotion to complete. And that's why it works so fast. You're not adding more effort, you're adding presence. And presence is the opposite of struggle. Now here's where this gets interesting in terms of how reality actually works. Your nervous system doesn't just respond to external threats. It responds to your internal state. And your internal state is largely determined by whether you feel safe or unsafe, at the most fundamental level. When you're in panic or overwhelm, you feel unsafe. Not because of what's happening around you necessarily, but because you feel disconnected from yourself. You've lost the sense of ground. The technique I just gave you restores that ground in seconds because it reconnects you with the most basic truth. You're here. You're breathing. You're in a body that knows how to regulate itself when given the right signal. This isn't just a coping mechanism, it's a rewiring tool. Every time you use it, you're teaching your nervous system a new pattern. Instead of spiraling into panic and needing 20 minutes to recover, you learn to interrupt the spiral at the beginning. And eventually, your nervous system learns that it doesn't need to spiral at all, because you've proven you can handle intensity without abandoning yourself. That's the deeper transformation. You become someone who doesn't fear their own emotions, because you know you can meet them. You know you have a tool that works instantly, and that knowing changes everything about how you move through the world. When you can self-soothe instantly, stress stops being this overwhelming thing you have to avoid. It becomes just another weather pattern moving through, uncomfortable sometimes, intense sometimes, but not dangerous, not something that can derail you, because you know how to come back to center in seconds. People spend years in therapy trying to manage anxiety. They take medications, they avoid situations that might trigger them, and all of that has its place. But what if the tool you actually needed was already in your hands, literally, in your hands? I'm not saying this replaces everything else, but I am saying this works right now, in real time, in the moment when you need it most. And that changes what's possible for you. You don't have to wait until you're calm to function. You don't have to clear your schedule for a meditation session. You don't have to be in a quiet room with perfect conditions. You can be in the middle of chaos, hand on chest, and within seconds you're back, present, capable, still feeling what you're feeling, but no longer drowning in it. That's the difference. You're not trying to feel nothing. You're staying with yourself while feeling everything. And somehow, that makes everything manageable. If this video gave you a tool you can actually use, write in the comments, "I am here with myself." Write it as your reminder. Nobody